We are so back, baby.
Welcome back to Set Her Up Pod with the Stanley Sisters. We are so excited for our second podcast episode, and we know all of you guys are too.
What a way to finish the weekend with Atlanta Vibe beating Vegas Thrill. The game just wrapped up, and we are here to talk about a crazy good weekend of volleyball.
Filled with lots of volleyball, so much fun watching every single game, so fun to see all the players from the Olympic level, right coming out of college, different dynamics on each team and how they make it work. It's just really fun to watch. And the competition level is extremely high in every single game, so
Mhm.
really exciting.
Yeah, we're in a different setup today than we were last episode. And there has also just been so much excitement over it. And it's, from last season to this season, obviously we only had one league last season, the PVF. If you don't know, there's two leagues competing this season. We have the PVF and Love. So I think the difference between PVF season last season and this season has been a drastic change. And the energy surrounding it is very different, a lot higher, and a lot more exciting.
Yeah, I think one of the main things that we thought about last year with PVF and the main thing that we looked for in the differences between leagues was the quality within each one and the announcement, the excitement around it, and just like the quality and seeing good plays. And I think that PVF has really stepped up the announcers, the quality. There's a lot more excitement around it, and the Love Volleyball League has been amazing, I think.
Yeah, and I think another thing that really played into this season being so much better so far, it's only been one weekend, but at the end of last college season, we had Texas and Nebraska in the finals, and there was a lot of excitement about that. However, after that season, we didn't have a lot of graduates. Like Nebraska, it was known they didn't have any seniors on their team last year. They were a very young team. Texas, you had Ellis Wendell, you had Madison Skinner, you had again a very young team. I don't even know if anybody really graduated from
Yeah.
that team. That I
I
can
think
think of
that was
right now.
Asia O'Neill's last
Asia
year,
O'Neal, yeah,
but
that's true. Sorry. But even then,
yeah.
you had very few
Mhm.
graduates that so that excitement didn't necessarily roll over in the same way it did this year.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think especially with the PVF, I think the quality of the play, I did see, with the structures of the leagues themselves, it seems that, Love Club has talked about how they're built on these youth clubs, and I think the structure of it is a lot more similar to the international leagues, with the PVF being a lot more similar to leagues like the NBA or the NFL. And I think even in the type of play, or maybe it was the venues, or it was something about it, and it felt I could feel that
Mhm.
in the quality of play and production,
Mhm.
from my
For
opinion.
sure.
LOVB felt very similar to some international leagues, especially the Italian National League. Another thing, so to kind of compare the two leagues, what do you think about, because going into it, I genuinely thought LOVB was going to be better. But after this weekend, I don't know.
Mhm.
What do you
I
think?
think, it depends too. Like, I think what was the game with that went to five? It was Austin versus Houston. Yes, Austin versus Houston. That game went to five. That was, I think, one of the most exciting games of the weekend, and that was in the Love League. Um, but then overall, I think PVF, I think the teams really give you something to root for. And with the excitement, I think that a lot of my favorite collegiate players are now in PVF, that it's um, rolling over into that, like you were saying, brings that excitement into PVF. And I think just it being from last year too, having that under their belts, I think brings in more excitement. But There are different leagues. There are a lot of different rules that we'll talk about, like for each league. What was the love one that you saw?
This isn't a rule for the whole season. It's a little crazy. We want to hear your thoughts on this actually. So it's not for the whole season, but I think, oh, what month is it? I'm not sure. I'll double check, but it could be in February. I don't even know if it's mid-season. I want to say it's February. The Love Cup has a bowl, like a super, I don't know. It's in Kansas City though. I do know that. And I believe it's in February. And they do have a rule for those matches only that any point, I want to say before 20, one of the coaches can hit a button, saying that word weird,
A button?
and that point will be worth 2 points.
I mean, like, is the button gonna be on a score table? Like, that's just
Yeah.
an insane concept.
Next to the challenge cards.
Yeah, like when I heard that that was like a new thing in this Love League, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I was like, why are we changing the game of volleyball? But I do think it will bring like more traction to it almost, and like I don't know, I'm intrigued to see. And I feel like we'll like learn more about the coaches' personalities too. Like
Yeah.
I think it'll be like funny to see if they like press the button and are like all petty about it or like
Yeah, I don't know.
And then so if do you know if like let's say we're versing each other and I click the button and then I lose that point, then
I get
you
2
get 2
points.
points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wow, that's like really
But
exciting.
yeah, and you do it before the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that'll like cause any like rivalries. Like I'm excited to see like the relationship between each team because I feel like on social media, which is great. Like I think everybody's very like supportive of each other and like it's a new league, like everybody's like lifting each other up, which is so great to see obviously. But I think it's fun when like at the college level, is it Louisville and Pitt? What's like the big rivalry?
Oh,
I think
I don't. Do they have a
Pitt,
big?
I think
No.
there Pitt had like major tea with like another team.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, and they like fought during.
Pitt? It's not Penn?
No, it's Pitt.
No, Pitt and Penn.
Oh no,
Like
no,
Battle of
no.
Pennsylvania teams.
No.
Is it
I feel like
Purdue?
Penn State like
Is it
does
Purdue?
No, it's
I
like
mean,
Louisville or Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure. Maybe
maybe
Wisconsin.
Louisville because they played in Final Four, right? Did they?
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, there are like a few rivalries, I think, in athletics in general, like you look at the NBA, NFL, like there are always rivalries. And I think that that makes it more interesting and gives people something to root for and a reason to watch. And I think as the leagues grow and as their social media presence grows and everything, I think that people will find things to root for and things like rivalries and other things like that make it more interesting for people to watch.
Yeah, I think I've been seeing a lot of TikToks and things of people that maybe don't play volleyball that, 'cause I'm totally on volleyball TikTok, that are like, oh, I'm watching this league, like, and I saw this one girl and she posted, I'm watching pro volleyball now. It's actually so fun. Anybody who knows the lore of it, like, let me know. And I think it does make watching sports so much more fun when there's some drama surrounding it.
For sure.
And I think we saw that a little bit in college volleyball.
Yeah.
So, not that I hope there's drama.
Yeah, no. Like it's great to see everybody rooting for each other and lifting each other up.
Yeah.
But
And there
it
is
is fun.
lore. There
Yeah,
is, you got Omaha, Austin, and it's kind of like the two college teams.
Yeah. And even, I mean, I'm bringing this game up again, but Austin and Houston. That game, like the battle of the Texas teams, like I think I don't know, that was like a really fun game to watch, and I think that a lot of little lures like that make the game a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah. And it's just made me so happy this past weekend seeing TikToks like that. Even when you're watching college volleyball, I saw a lot of people watching it that didn't play volleyball, but like, wait, this is actually really good. And more people are starting to catch on that it's super fun to watch.
And big crowds, like big crowds of reminding me of other professional sports, like with the Jumbotron, people on it, trying to get on it, dancing,
I love seeing
people
the
doing little
girls that are
waves.
like at these games and they have like these great athletes to look up to. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember especially that big game. This was 2 years ago, I guess, when Nebraska, the Huskers had their outdoor
Oh, yeah.
games. I remember just seeing the crowd and seeing like videos of little girls like so excited, and I remember watching a video and I cried. The two leagues, you have LOVB that's streamed on ESPN. They have 4 matches a week, and we got ESPN solely for this reason. And I mean, it's pretty easy now. We have it. We can watch all their matches. With the PVF though, it's a little bit different. They have most of their games are on YouTube. I think maybe like, I think they have 8 games a week, somewhere around that. And because I think each team plays twice and they have 8 teams. And they are, I want to say 6 of them are streamed on YouTube, maybe 5. 1 or 2 are streamed on Fox Sports. Not like the main Fox Sports, like Fox Sports 1, I guess, whatever their streaming service is. And then some other streaming service they have a game on. So I have it like spread out between a lot of platforms, which can make it kind of difficult to follow and watch every single game.
Yeah.
Realistically, I guess who depends on watching like 8 games a week is a lot to watch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, a little overwhelming this first week. We were like, all right, we'll watch this one, this one, this one, and then there would be like 3 a day where we were like, this is a lot of volleyball.
Yeah. So, but I think it's easy to say, okay, I'm just not gonna watch the ones on Fox Sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll watch the other ones. But I did like being on YouTube and having the live chat while watching the games. It's super fun because you get to kind of hear what people are thinking.
Yeah.
You get to hear opinions, and it was so nice. I put in one of the chats about our podcast trying to self-promote. I was kind of nervous because people are gonna be like,
people just like hate on you, like,
yeah, or like
shut up about your podcast.
or like it's gonna get the comments gonna get deleted, or
Yeah.
like, oh really, like self-promo, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
nervous,
You just
but
get hate.
people were so nice.
Yeah.
And then I like ran to find you. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's so nice.
Like
And
the volleyball community, yeah, like everybody's so uplifting and everybody just loves volleyball and wants it to grow. So
yeah,
people being so supportive just like makes me
yeah.
very happy.
So I really hope more people catch on that.
Yeah.
It's super fun, and because then the leagues can just grow. We can get more teams. I mean, we live in New York, and it would be so cool to have a New York team. And it's not nearly as big here as it is in Nebraska or Texas, but
That'd be cool.
I think it could be. I mean, I think New York people have a lot of pride for their sports teams.
Sure.
Maybe not. I think the Jets are doing bad. I feel like I hear a lot of
Yeah.
stuff about them, about the Jets. Gonna go over the games that we watched this week, talk a little bit about them.
Yes. So the first game we watched was for the Love League, and it was
Salt Lake versus Atlanta.
Oh my gosh. Salt Lake versus Atlanta. Now, there were a few things that surprised me throughout the weekend with lineups and everything, because we kind of like talked about what lineups we would have for each team and everything. And a lot of players that I had in or out didn't involve collegiate players just because they have less experience professionally, and a lot of the older players played at the Olympic level on the national team and everything. And seeing these collegiate players fresh out of college stepping up and playing was amazing. So watching these two teams, we saw a lot of that. Those college players stepping up.
Yeah.
So the first game we watched the weekend is Salt Lake versus Atlanta, and Salt Lake came out on top in 4. We saw amazing things from Jordan Poulter, Danny Drews, one of my favorite players. Doing research on the teams and on the leagues, the way Danny Drews plays, she's so uplifting with her team, and I just loved watching her play. Haley Washington's on that team, but we didn't see her play. I don't think she was dressed at all.
Yeah,
So
she must
was
have
on
been
the
hurt.
bench. Yeah.
something
So
going on.
kind of a
I
bummer,
don't know if
but
the announcer said that. I haven't really looked at
yeah.
anything of her, like her socials or anything.
Yeah, but I feel like they just came out with so much confidence and they had like really good team dynamics and worked really well together, where I feel like Atlanta had a lot of defensive errors and like they had a lot of miscommunications, which you wouldn't expect to see at that level. But in the beginning of a league with a new team, new coaches, new teammates, it can be a hard transition. And they had a great game. But I think that Salt Lake just beat them to finding their groove this early on in the season. And I was really impressed with the level of play.
Yeah, I think also Kelsey Robinson Cook, she's one of the best outsides and, lots of expectations for her. I think, she did well, but she didn't really start swinging
Yeah.
like we know she can until the third set, which they ended up winning. I think that was the
Yeah.
set that they won. And then,
Yeah.
I think there were times where she just wasn't as aggressive as she could have been. She had some great plays. There were some really great rallies.
Yeah, at this level, when the defense is that good, if your hitters aren't aggressive, you're really not going to get anywhere. And I think that Salt Lake not only like they didn't just have one aggressive hitter that they kept going to, they had a really well-rounded offense. And Jordan Poulter's obviously one of the best setters
Yeah.
ever. So she really is an experienced setter and ran the offense evenly and really strong. That made it hard for Atlanta to read anything.
That's true. And you're right. We did see a lot of miscommunications, not just from them, but throughout the weekend, both leagues.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's something that's going to kind of clear up and, it's going to take some time for teams to build that chemistry. For middles for Atlanta also, we had Yelarovich, I hope I'm saying that right, and Kayla Hainline to start. And then someone I was really impressed with who came in, I believe towards the end of the game, was Tia Jimerson. I loved watching her play. She was super fun.
She was fun.
Lots of energy. I really liked watching her.
Yeah, I think for Salt Lake we saw Tori Dixon come in and she was in the PVF last year. I'm not exactly sure which team, but it's interesting to see players switching over. I think there were a few that switched over from PVF to LOVB, and I think that's like an interesting thing to see or hear about why, if we ever do.
Yeah.
They switched over. But I keep saying LOVB and I'm not sure. Is it do I say love LOVB? I don't know.
Guys, real talk. We filmed a whole episode.
Real talk.
We filmed a whole episode referring to it as LOVB, and that's not the reason we didn't post it. We didn't post it because a lot of reasons. We just weren't as excited about it as we want to be for every single episode. It's love.
It's love.
Yeah, as soon as we filmed it, we saw.
Moral of the story is love.
I think it was Kelsey Robinson Cooks. She's been making a lot of TikToks that I've seen about the league. I think it was her who said it's.
I just saw I saw a TikTok that was just like an animated voice with like an edit of all the players. Maybe it's like it's pronounced love. They probably posted it because everybody was saying LOVB. But I kind of like that. And like how they do it, like the logo is like an E, but then like the B.
Yeah, and again, to kind of compare the two leagues, I really liked the jerseys, the color, I feel like the lighting in the venues kind of makes a difference. I feel like it was a lot brighter, bright colors, which I don't know, fun to watch, aesthetically pleasing. PBF, I was very impressed with it. I like that they have mascots, they have that type of energy. I think like
Omaha Supernovas did like a cool media day and like a spaceship outer space museum or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but I thought that was really cool because they're like the supernovas. Yeah. So that's like a fun little thing they have.
Yeah. I really like for the most part, I like most of the team names. I like the Valkyries. I think that's cool.
I think last year I thought like Mojo, like Vibe, but it's kind of growing on me a little bit. Like when I see like the whole vibe and the whole mojo of it all, I kind of I kind of support.
I think Vibe is growing on me because I love it, Atlanta Vibe, but we'll get to
Yeah.
that later. Mojo, not as much.
Mojo yet to be seen. We'll see.
Not as much.
Yeah.
I also liked in the first game that we were just talking about, Atlanta versus Salt Lake, Beatrice Negretti, the libero for Atlanta, she had fake eyelash on, like a bright blue.
Oh,
I don't know what
yeah.
color.
No, that
I
was
don't know what color they
cool.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did like a little camera zoom and I was like, oh shoot, like
Yeah, I
this
like
is full
that.
out. No, it's like the same thing. Like it's interesting with like female sports and everything. Like I have so much appreciation when watching NCAA or even this, like their earring stacks. Or I was just telling
Yeah.
you about like how Jordan Larson and um the Louisville coach, they wore like high heels when they were coaching on the sideline.
Yeah.
And now like the eyelash extensions and everything, I think that's like so great to see, and like just female sports, like women in sports is just like so fun when they're like showing their feminine side and like just being baddies.
Also, the tattoos. I feel like a lot of players have tattoos that are cool to see. I saw a discussion in one of the live chats, like,
Yeah.
we need tattoo rankings.
Yeah, like volleyball players, if there are any pro players watching, we want to see all the tattoo tours. So
Yeah.
post on whatever platform we're going to after TikTok gets banned.
Yeah.
But
yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
I think
We don't want to lose everybody. Yeah. Set her up pod.
Yeah. Whatever new social media comes out, we'll be set her up pod on it.
Lemonade. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's a win for Salt Lake. That game was on Wednesday, and that was the only game for that day, I think, right? I don't really know.
Yeah, that was the only game for that day because that was like the first day, and then PVF started the next day.
Did it?
I think PVF started one day later and then went one day later.
I feel like, yeah, I think PVF also has kind of a better schedule with the games. You know, they're more weekend games. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like very like I feel like LOVB was like through love. Sorry, they were like through many days and spread out more. PVF was on the weekend, but there would be like 3 games a day.
Yeah. The next game, Austin versus Houston.
Personally, my favorite game that I watched this weekend.
Very fun.
Yeah, we really saw Austin shine in the first towards the beginning, and then towards the end, Houston really just like became dominant, I think. Like it was back and forth for the first few sets, and Jess Merzick again and Madison Skinner for Austin, you really see these younger players being the most dominant right out of college, and they're just making insane plays. Yeah. Look like they've been playing professionally for years. So really awesome to see, and then playing with older, more experienced players. Austin had like 9 Texas alums, which is insane. We saw Asia O'Neal in like the last 2 sets, I believe. Did we say who won? Houston won in 5. I think it was a reverse sweep, right? I believe it was. Yeah. And I
think it was too.
We only saw Asia O'Neal the last like 2 sets. We only saw Logan Eggleston for the last 2 sets.
Didn't see a lot of her.
Yeah.
Who else?
But we were glad to see them play.
So Zoe Fleck is now Zoe Jarvis. She played at Texas. I think she is like there was definitely so much hype around her. When they won the national championship, her 5th year, because she went to UCLA for the first 4 years, then she went to Texas for her 5th year. When they won the national championship, so much talk around her, and in this league, I haven't seen much. She is so, I think she's underrated. She is so phenomenal. I love.
You think she's underrated? You just said that she got so much hype.
Yeah, no, she got hype at the time. But now with this new league,
I do agree. She's just like so quick. Like she gets up things further away. She's so athletic.
Like her movements, her dolphin dive is like crazy.
Yeah,
and she just
And I think it's important for liberos to have bring a certain energy to the team. I feel like liberos are like the ones that really like hype up the team and like give the team their energy. I think that Zoe Jarvis does a great job of that, and that's what really makes her stand out between like all of the liberos.
Another player I love, one of my favorites, is Jordan Thompson on Houston, the right side. Saw her in the Olympics a bit. Love her. Felt I don't know. I don't mean to like, I guess I'm like hating on the Olympic players. I'm not hating on them. I mean, they're phenomenal players and I know that. Like, I just love her so much and wanted her to like completely dominate. But I guess in no one's like dominating crazy,
Yeah, no.
which just goes to show like
I think Madison Skinner carried her team whenever, like I think that they just kept going to her and she just kept knowing how to finish it. And I think Jordan Thompson for Houston will probably end up being that player, but it was the first game and I think that I don't know, nerves could have been involved, and I think that we saw her keep on growing as the weekend went on. But there's a lot of expectations for her as such an amazing and well-known player that we see her play at her not her 100% or not her 100% best. And we're like, oh, like she didn't have a great game, but like she still is playing insane.
I'm
Like
also saying she didn't have a great game. Like I think she actually did good. I just
yeah.
like I'm so picky. I'm like, oh
Yeah. And we saw her really
just
show
like
what she can do later on in the week.
And I guess it was everyone with like the little errors. I'm like, let's go. No more errors.
Let's go. This is professional volleyball here.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Too hard in it. Hold on. I need to see who the setter was because
I was just wondering that.
Because I remember we were like, yeah, she's kind of carrying.
Yeah, well, for Austin, I was thinking they would do 6-2 because they have so many right sides and two amazing setters. Oh my God, I'm like, oh well, they have Ka'ahina Torres, who is also a Texas alum, but she didn't play much. Who was their other setter?
Oh, Maddie Rochelle also did phenomenal. Oh, Micah Hancock. Yeah, she was insane.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, she was
She's
insane.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's these also if about LOV
Lloyd.
also about Love Club is can I speak? Also about Love Club is these Olympic athletes, Micah Hancock, Jordan Thompson, who else have we talked about? Haley Washington. These are like the founding athletes of the club. This is
Jordan Poulter, right?
Jordan Poulter, yeah.
Poulter. Yeah. Austin setter, Carly Lloyd. Is she also a founding? Too? Yeah, she is too. She was insane for Austin. And another player I really liked watching from Italy, Alessia Gennari. She was really cool to watch. She's an outside, and I feel like she was just like an all-around really solid player for Austin and fun to watch. So it's cool like learning about new players too and seeing like how well they're doing.
Yeah. Another player who's with Houston, I was so impressed with their middles too. I think Amber Ajiti is their middle. I thought
I mean, she's
IGD did an amazing job. I feel like middle's such a difficult position, and the middles have been extremely impressive.
Yeah.
I guess everybody has.
Especially at this level, because it's like already kind of hard to like avoid blockers in the middle. You know, you're like going head on with like the other team's best blocker. And at this level, the blocks are always just like huge and really good. So to run your offense that fast, to be running your middles and being so successful at finishing with them is just insanely impressive. Yeah.
Skinner did do very well. Eggleston did not play much.
What she did though, she did all right.
She did good. Yeah. They put her in, I believe, at like one time for 2 points.
Yeah.
She did like one thing. She didn't make any mistakes and they took her out right away. I was like, that's such an and I think it was like 21 something. Like it just didn't feel necessary. I thought it was kind of weird.
I'm like wondering if there's like a strategy, like if they're like, all right, well, if this is our best outside, like we're gonna try to save her energy. Because also, if they have multiple games a weekend, Madison Skinner played the whole game, that first game, and then didn't play at all the second game they
Yeah.
played that weekend. So I feel like there's like kind of a strategy to say like,
Yeah.
hey, let's put this player in. Every player on every single team is an amazing player that can hold their own on the court.
Mhm.
So I think it's not even a matter of like playing time as much. It's just like strategizing who works best with what setter and like
Yeah.
when you want to save your players' energy or
Mhm.
put them
Yeah.
out.
I guess they did. I feel like they do that in like basketball or something.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
sure.
I guess they do that in professional sports more. But then so yeah, the next game, Austin played Madison,
Mhm.
and Madison Skinner did not touch the court,
Yeah.
but Logan Eggleston played.
Mhm.
And I think O'Neal started
Mhm.
and played. He didn't
Yeah.
start the first game of the week.
We've
But
actually had discussions about Asia O'Neal, and we have a bit of like a difference in opinion, I would say. I
Mhm.
mean, not a difference in opinion. Like I feel like I understand where you're coming from and but do we want to share?
I guess I'm scared.
I mean, we
Because
don't
everybody
have
loves
to.
Asia O'Neal and I get it. I like her too.
She has a lot of hype around her. I mean, I feel like coming from Texas, she has a lot of hype. But
Yeah.
hot
Yeah.
take, is Asia O'Neal overrated?
You don't think she is.
I don't not think she is. I think there are so many great middles out there that it's like she gets so much hype and
Mhm.
is called the slide queen. There are so many middles that can slide and like
Yeah.
I think I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And obviously, okay, she did really phenomenal in the final against Nebraska.
Mhm.
She did
Oh,
really good. I will admit that.
Mhm.
And she is good. But I think in this league, and I think she can be really good. I just I don't know.
I totally get what you're saying. I think also like Texas has such a huge fan base, Texas athletics in general,
Mhm.
that I think a lot of her fans come from Texas, like their fan base. So
Mhm.
they see her play. She did amazing against Nebraska in the final for her last year, won them a national championship. And so I think that their fans carry through, but I think that there are so many middles that
Yeah.
can get the same exact recognition.
Well, every time okay, you're gonna get me canceled. Like, but I don't want to come out with a controversial opinion our second episode, but because you don't even think that. Like, I'll say that and you'll be like, oh, no, you're wrong.
Okay, but yeah, like
I know we're like
no,
switching up. Like, I'm like, no,
no,
I love Asia O'Neal. She's great. And you're like, yeah, I think there's.
no. Like I love Asia O'Neal and I think that she's great. Watching her in the national championship, I was in awe and I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. Like, of course, I'm sure a lot of people thought that, but I do understand where you're coming from, where there
Mhm.
are like we
Okay.
you should, yeah.
I guess it's mainly, I'm gonna try to explain this. The slide queen thing. I think this is the only thing. This is the only thing. Maybe they're a little bit predictable. Like I like to see a slide when someone's like about to run over,
Mhm.
and then they like quickly like change direction,
Yeah.
and they like I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know, that's what I
Mhm.
like a little bit
Yeah.
quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit quicker, a little bit more bang.
Kind of another controversial opinion, but I feel like men's volleyball, they like run a lot of plays. Like I feel like even watching our younger brother's team, they'll like run plays where like I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I feel like their setter will just like call like an audible almost and like just be like, all right, like we're running a pop and then I'm gonna set this D ball and everybody's gonna run around the court and it's gonna work perfectly.
Yeah,
Like I
like
think men's
a
volleyball,
stack.
like
You throw
yeah,
a
yeah.
stacks.
I feel like that's like seen a lot more in men's volleyball. I feel like they're very different
You
and this
sound like our
and
dad right now.
no. I think that at this level we're gonna see a lot more of that because I think that that's like something that also differentiates college to professional.
Mhm.
Oh, we're playing footsie. I'm like excited to see the difference in the professional and college leagues. Like, I think that they'll run more plays like that, and I think that they're like running everything faster and their sets their go balls are just faster. Like
Mhm.
everything's faster that makes the game a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I actually was gonna bring this up when we talked about the super point rule that counts for two. I hope to see some, especially during those times, like these teams get together before the bowl and they're like, all right, this is our super play. When the button's pressed, this is the play we're going to, or something, and they do something like totally insane. You know what I want to see when the button's pressed? I want to see like I actually have no idea.
I want to see like a fight. Like not literally, but like I want to see like
I want to see a charity leaper stare down.
yeah. Like I want to see like angst and
Yeah.
I think that's like what it's gonna bring. I think that's kind of the point. I think it's like I want like the coach to like pedally press the button and like kind of stare at the other coach and be like, yeah, just press the button and like what are you gonna do about it?
We're gonna turn these leagues into the WWE. So Austin versus Madison, let's get back on topic. Madison was Madison's first match of the season. What did we think?
Claire Chowsey is, I think, both of our, like, one of our favorite players from last year. She was in the PVF League on Supernovas.
I want to say Grand
Grand
Rapids.
Rapids.
I think she was
Columbus Fury.
No, I think she was on Grand Rapids.
Okay. So on Grand Rapids, but she, I mean, I feel like everybody knows. She just like jumps out of the gym, has amazing defense, just a high IQ, and is really fun to watch.
I feel like, her and Anna DeBeer have a very similar look, similar style of play, and
they just look so calm on
they could
the
be like
court.
twins.
Yeah, they're like she plays so calm on the court, and watching her play the other day, like she was just dominant for their team, and you could tell she was like a captain kind of for them and like a go-to option for them, even in the back row.
She looked a lot happier. Like,
Claire Chase.
I feel like she's kind of a player. One of the, I mean, I don't know how many players switched from the PVF to Love, but I think
probably like
her
one on
and
every
Asia.
Love team, I would say.
Yeah, maybe, but she just looked a lot happier.
I agree. Yeah.
Here, she looked great. She played great.
Yeah. And like you were saying, Sarah Franklin was an outside. She didn't start, but she would.
So.
Yeah, but she did really well for them. Again, another player fresh out of college that's just like making a huge impact for their team.
Yeah.
And then playing with older players. Did she play with Claire Chowsey? Chowsey? I'm like,
I think it's Chowsey.
Chowsey. Did they play together in Wisconsin or was that
Claire played at Louisville.
Oh.
And Sarah played at Wisconsin. She was 2023 Player of the Year, right?
Sarah Franklin?
Yeah, I think so.
Wasn't she this past year?
No, I think Olivia Babcock was.
Oh, okay, E. Freshman, right?
Sophomore.
Oh, yeah. I'm a sophomore.
Yeah.
Gotta get my stuff together. Oh, no.
And Annie Drews, another great player, played in the Olympics, lefty right side. Just love her. She's good.
This is the problem, like when it's just like you and I together, which is like, 90% of my life. I feel like we're both kind of like mumblers and low talkers, and we both have terrible hearing. So I'll be like mumbling to her, talking really low, and then she'll be like, "What?" And then I'll say it again, the same volume, mumbling, and then she starts getting mad, and it's like, "What?" And this goes both ways, where I'll be like, "What are you saying?" And we just keep talking at the same volume, and eventually I just have to say like, just nod your head and say yes, and then just like pretend you hear me, even if you don't.
We're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
And so
I'm so sorry if you can't understand what we're saying.
What better idea for two chronic mumblers than to start a podcast? The last game for Love Club was Houston versus Omaha. And this was Omaha's first match. And Omaha, similar to Austin, has a ton of Nebraska alumni. You have Jordan Larson, who is the GOAT. The GOAT, and I think that's like
Small time.
objective
Mhm.
fact.
No, she's
She's the
coaching
GOAT.
at Nebraska. Who did Houston win this game though?
No, Omaha
No?
1-3.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
Scratch that. Yeah.
and you got Justine Wong-Rantes.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously. Yeah, I feel like this
awesome.
is just like a lot of the national team players too.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing her playing on the same team as Lexi Rodriguez, like
Yeah.
Lexi Rodriguez was essential for the Nebraska team, and then to see her come and then unfortunately she didn't play.
It is a little bit of like lore, I guess, that everybody, like a lot of players from Omaha for the Love are Nebraska alumni, and you have Justine Wong-Rantes and Lexi Rodriguez, two of the best liberos, or the best, not one of the best liberos at Nebraska. And Lexi just this past season, only by like a couple digs. I mean, she overcame Justine Wong-Rantes' dig record and set the new record.
And then went on to be teammates with her. Like that's just like really cool.
Yeah, and again with these like founding athletes, you see them, leading their teams and have a lot more experience. So I don't know, it's kind of nice to see. Yeah. For Love, do you like have a team that you were like, oh?
Love posted on their Instagram a little like questionnaire of like if you like pick this and this and this and this, then you root for this team. Which I liked, but then I feel like it gave me something that I just like didn't agree with. Like I feel like it gave me a team that I didn't want to be a fan of. Like I forget what it was.
I think it was the same that I got.
We
both got Madison.
I mean, no, we got different ones.
Oh, I got Madison and I'm kind of happy with it. I think I might stick
I don't even remember what I got. Any results I got I wouldn't have been very happy with because I want to make the decision for myself. But I'm very indecisive, and so I need a favorite team to root for each one because I want to get like merch for like my favorite pro team. Like that's so cool. But I'm
you
just
don't
like
have to decide
indecisive.
now. There's time. There's like a whole season ahead of us.
Yeah.
Only the first
So.
week.
The PVF games, kind of how we mentioned before, were split up on YouTube and on Fox. So the Fox games, I don't believe we watched, but we would watch clips and stuff on Instagram and everything, and know all the results of the games. But I think the first PVF game was the day after the first Love game, and what was the?
Well, there was supposed to be a game that was on, I don't know what it's called, like volleyball BBTV, something like that. I don't really know. Five versus Supernovas. Atlanta versus Omaha. And that was not, I don't know. The schedule didn't say it was on YouTube, I don't think. It said it was on something else.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But we watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that was the first match that we watched was Atlanta versus Omaha for the PBF. So
I love Atlanta's jerseys.
yeah, me too.
They are like they're such a pretty blue, and I don't know, I feel like just I feel like everybody's just all of a sudden made the switch to like tank top jerseys. And at first I was like kind of not sure how I felt about that, but now I vibe with it. And I feel like Atlanta Vibe had really cool looking jerseys.
I like it when they wear it with arm sleeves.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't wear it without arm sleeves.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it.
And then I feel like it looks so unified when everybody has it. It's either like don't wear it or wear it, but not wearing it's like kind of weird. I mean, I get though for middles, like or right sides or something like setters, they're not diving around. Like liberos are gonna want to wear arm sleeves, I'm sure.
Setters definitely dive.
I know that was kind of just something that I threw in there, but like probably not as much as liberos and outsides.
But I mean, you always got to be ready.
Yeah,
I think everybody should.
I think it like looks good for the aesthetic.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
and like
I'm with you.
You might everyone there's no one's like never gonna dive. Yeah, I love Atlanta. I might be an Atlanta Vibe fan.
Next week, maybe I'll make my big announcement of who who I'm rooting for both leagues. So you're an Atlanta fan for PVF
For PVF, I don't know. That's like
in the works.
so far this week.
Yeah.
I loved watching them. So for the first match, against Omaha, I was super duper impressed because like you were saying before, you don't know how these players straight out of college are gonna
Mhm.
come in playing against people with a lot more experience.
Yeah.
And Merritt Beeson was so good. She
She's
was like a
amazing.
go-to. She was super dominant.
Yeah.
And
In the front row and back row, they really just went to her whenever they could, I feel like.
yeah.
And she just had so much
Oh,
confidence.
her back row was insane.
Yeah. Her serving, her like defense, just she was all around really, really good.
Yeah, and obviously she was insane at Nebraska, but you don't know how that adjustment's gonna be. You don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like at the collegiate level and at Nebraska specifically, Nebraska was so big and had Andy Jackson, Harper Murray,
Mhm.
Taylor Landfair, Lindsey Krause, like they had so many hitters. And Merritt Beeson was a huge part of their offense, but like everybody just knew like Nebraska was so well rounded. Merritt Beeson at Atlanta was really a go-to. And I think on Nebraska they were like more like
Yeah.
she just kind of did what she had to do.
Mhm.
Here she was like so dominant for them.
Yeah, and another thing that's helpful is that she played with her setter for Atlanta at Florida before she came to Nebraska, Marley Monserez. They both played at Florida together.
It's cute.
So having that chemistry prior
Mhm.
probably pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And then Merritt Beeson with Leah Edmond, that front row,
Oh yeah.
pretty insane. And then obviously, you know, Morgan Hens, who's, dare I say, the gloat, the
Gloats.
greatest
I
libero
feel
of
like
all
there are
time.
many gloats. I mean, we just talked about Justine Wong and like
Yeah, yeah.
so comment down below who you think the gloat is.
Yeah, let us know.
Anyways.
The next game that we're gonna talk about, Saturday's game, Mojo versus Fury. San Diego Mojo versus Columbus Fury. And as I mentioned, oh, also if you didn't know, little fun fact, Joe Burrow, everyone's favorite, cutest football player,
Carrying the Broncos right now.
had some drama. What?
He's carrying the Broncos right now. The Broncos are doing terrible.
So he's not on the Broncos.
Joe Burrow?
Yeah, he's
Who's
not on the Bengals.
Oh my God, Bengals. He's carrying the Bengals right now.
Oh,
That's what I meant to say,
yeah.
yeah.
So he
Cut that
was
out.
not on the Broncos.
Sorry. I feel like no football fans.
I
will
know
listen to
nothing
this.
about
It's
football,
okay.
but I do know what team Joe Burrow
You know why
plays
I'm saying
for.
that? Because I've
That's not
seen
true. I
so
know
many
that.
TikToks and so many people saying like, get Joe Burrow like a different team. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Anyways.
see edits of him sometimes.
Yeah.
Columbus Fury is owned by Joe Burrow and his parents, I think. It's like a
And it's
family thing.
wow.
Yeah.
Cute. Columbus
So-
Fury was like pretty dominant last year, right? Were they in the
I think
finals?
so. No.
Who was it?
It
Grand
was
Rapids?
Grand Rapids and
And
Omaha.
Omaha. Right. I get the two
But-
confused.
Columbus Fury played San Diego Mojo, and as I said the first week, one of my favorite players, I obviously have a lot. I think I say this about a lot of players, but is Jill Gillen.
I feel like she's like
And
she's pretty high up on your favorites though.
Yeah, I love her. She
Understandably so.
like led her team to the Elite Eight. I think that was Arkansas's first time there. I can go on and on. I love her.
And just her attitude towards volleyball.
Yeah.
She's so fun to watch.
so gritty.
I've said that about so many people too, but
So
yeah.
she didn't play. I actually didn't watch the whole game. She didn't play at all.
Oh, that's crazy. Because she played last year.
Yeah, she did play. I don't know. We
Nice.
definitely didn't watch the whole season last year. And she did play. Sometimes she struggled, definitely. She's pretty undersized. She would struggle sometimes to come out. But yeah, I was kind of bummed. Didn't get to see her play. So yeah, she didn't play at all. Lame.
We'll
Lame.
see her throughout the
Lame,
season.
lame.
It's okay.
No.
It'll be fine.
Maybe if she did play, they would have won because San Diego Mojo won in 3 sets, I think. Never mind, they won in 4. They won in 4, but yeah, whatever. So then we watched the Orlando Valkyries versus Indy Ignite. And I did used to like the Orlando Valkyries last season. If you asked me what team I was a fan of, I would have said them because Jill Gillum was on that team. And because I like their mascot. And because I think out of all the states, Florida is the only one I've been to. Got San Diego. I've been to California like once or twice. What other? Indy, Ignite, Indianapolis, right? Is that Indianapolis? Or is that
Indiana?
Indiana. I have been to Indiana.
Have you? Have I?
Notre Dame's no.
I don't know.
Notre Dame's in Indiana, right? Because I think it's right next to.
Geography is not my strong suit,
Oh, I know.
And it is yours.
Okay, let's see which states I've been to. I've been to California once or twice, but not like I've been to Florida a lot more times. Columbus, Ohio. I've never been to there for volleyball. I've been to Indiana because I think Notre Dame's in Indiana. My cousin went there, our cousin. Obviously, Florida I've been to, as I said. What other teams? Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've never been to Michigan. Omaha, Nebraska. I've never been to Nebraska. There's 2 more. I guess I could just look at the notes I have right here. Vegas, I've never been to Nevada.
Yeah.
And I have been to Georgia. Anyways, I don't know why I just did that Atlanta vibe. Anyway, so that's why I would have was an Orlando Valkyries fan, I guess. I do like players like Georgia Murphy and Hannah Pukis. Georgia Murphy, they both played at Oregon 2 years ago, and I really like that team as well. Georgia Murphy was their libero. She did a good job. Hannah Pukis played a little bit. I don't really think she was on Vegas Thrill last year. And so she came over to Orlando, I guess, traded. I guess that's the term.
Yeah, I'd like that to be like more like public and like I feel like the trades and everything, I feel like they should like really put that out on their social media. Like maybe they can make like little playing cards or something.
Well, I am an avid follower of Jill Gillian, so I knew that I knew the minute that she was traded.
Yeah.
It's like fun when you find like a niche little player who like isn't highly talked about, but it's like, oh, I like them though.
Yeah.
Like
she's
like yeah, my favorite player. She's like super underground.
They played Indy Ignite, and Indy won in 4, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Ignite 1 in 4. Anna Jabir is still injured, unfortunately. Elena Scott got in a little bit, which was cool. It's just crazy to see like these high collegiate players. Like Elena Scott was so instrumental for Louisville this past year. And then she is not the starting libero for Ignite, so.
The starting libero for Indy was Kylie Murr. The announcers sometimes would mix up names throughout the weekend. I feel like it could be a little bit cleaner.
That was something that we talked about last year too.
Yeah. Like, I just
I feel like things would come later after the point too. Like the announcers would be kind of late to like saying things and it was already on to the next point almost. And I think that was something we kind of talked about last year that I think they've been better with.
And the first, actually, let's talk about that too. Because the first point of the PVF I watched was the start of Atlanta versus Omaha. And I think Atlanta got like the first 2 points. Merritt Beeson got the first 2 points, I want to say. And the score showed 1-0 Omaha. I was like, come on. Yeah. Really? Not a good way to start.
But I think they've been much better. We also were like talking about the announcers pretty much every game because they'd have crazy rallies. And then I feel like the announcers would be just not matching the vibe. I feel like announcers, we need more from you. We need all the energy. We need the excitement. We need you guys to like yell and scream. Get the people hype. Yeah. I feel like the announcers aren't hype enough for my liking to it.
Because people say like a lot of things about women's sports. like not having as much money, and people are like, well, you have to make money to get it. And I do wonder, I don't know, like maybe there is large investments going in and the return is just not there. But I'm also like, well, it's an investment. So what you put in
Yeah.
could be what you get out. Is it like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because that's something that's like,
You think of like
come
the
on,
streaming
like,
services
yeah,
too, like everything's involved with
yeah.
that.
So I'm just like, well, everything's an investment. If you're gonna say like it just doesn't make as much money, like maybe look at how much you're putting in for a starting investment. But
Yeah.
I'm being like really lucky right now. A good weekend of watching volleyball,
Yes.
so I'm
It was
overall
great.
happy.
Yes, me too.
So we just finished tonight watching with Atlanta versus Vegas. Atlanta Vibe versus Vegas
Can we talk about
Thrill.
Omaha
And I
now?
thought the
We didn't really
announcers
talk
were
about
a lot, I do think the announcers were energetic. They just
it. Mhm.
sometimes messed up names and little things.
Yeah.
But I thought they were energetic and I liked
Mhm.
that. You know,
Yeah.
some announcers were better than others.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that game was super fun to watch. Atlanta 1-3, as I mentioned. I'm a fan not only of Jill Gillen, but that Arkansas team that got to the Elite
Mhm.
Eight, which
Yeah.
consisted of Taylor Head, and she stepped on the court,
Mhm.
and I got like the biggest grin across my face. I was like, yes, love her. And she got a great back row attack, back row kill. She did a great job. And so yeah, she played at Arkansas, then she went to FSU.
Mhm.
I just really loved Atlanta this weekend. I think fan points, they got the most.
Yeah.
I really like them. But that is different than actual points because I don't think they came out first in that way. So now we'll get a little bit into the standings for the both leagues.
Mhm.
Update you guys, let you know where everybody stands. We'll start with Love. So in first place right now, it's so early in the
Yeah,
season,
after like
but-
one weekend of playing, but
But we'll do
just
this
keep you
like
guys updated.
every
Yeah.
week. Yeah, just keep you updated. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll post it on our Instagram too, because I don't think Love had standings on their
Mm-hmm.
website. So in first place is Omaha. They only had one match, and they won it in 3. So they're 1-0 in matches, 3-0 in sets, undefeated. Pretty impressive. Salt Lake also had one match, but they did lose a set, so they won in 4, so they're in second place. Then Houston had 2 matches. Both Texas teams had 2 matches this week, and they both split. So Austin went 1-1 and Houston went 1-1. But Austin's in third because the set they lost was in 5 sets. So Austin is in third because they went 5-3 in sets. So they won 5 sets because they took, yeah, okay. And then Houston is 3-3 in sets. So yeah. Then in 5th and 6th, Atlanta and Madison both only played one match and lost. So Atlanta is 1-3 in sets, and Madison is 0-3 in sets. And then over to the PBF League.
PVF in first place we have Omaha.
Omaha's in first in both leagues.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Not
mean,
surprising.
again, super early, but yeah, Omaha's first in both leagues, so they went 2-0 and 6 in sets and then 2 losses. So 6-2 in sets and then 2-0 in games. Then Indy, they went 1-0. They only had one game, and that game was in 4. Atlanta 1-1, 5-3 in sets. And then Orlando 1-1, 4-3 in sets. San Diego 1-1, 3-4 in sets. Vegas 1-1, 3-5 in sets.
Sound a little bit more robotic.
I'm sorry, but this is just what's
Yeah.
going on in the stats right now, and this is the first. It's the first week. It's like really early that it's like just hear like the stats and like We just talked about all the games.
Yeah.
Columbus is in second to last, 0-1, and then 1-3 in sets, and then Grand Rapids is 0-2 and 2-6 in sets. So I feel like for the season, these standings obviously don't mean much because it's after the first weekend, but like so much can change. I feel like there are so many strong teams, and then they just have to find their groove. I feel like there were like a lot of nerves, and then teams just like having miscommunications that normally wouldn't happen. So I feel like we said earlier, that's definitely going to clear up as the time goes on. They just have to like find their groove and like keep practicing with each other.
Honestly, if like you didn't watch this past week, you can still watch next week and you don't have to go back, but you can. A lot of it's, at least from the PBF, is still on YouTube. I think they have 4 matches, and love, if you have ESPN Plus, it's great. If not, like, get it. It's worth it. It's worth it. So we start off, it kind of goes by the same format every week. So we start off Wednesday with Atlanta versus Austin. This is played in Austin. Do you have predictions for that match?
I see Austin pulling that out, but yeah, Atlanta's also a really strong team, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin. My prediction. Do you have a prediction?
I'm gonna say Atlanta. So then Thursday we have 3 matches, no love matches on this day, all PBF. Big day for PBF. And I think these are all going to be on YouTube Live. So we start off with Columbus Fury versus Atlanta Vibe. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Atlanta Vibe.
Me too. Me too.
But I did like seeing them play. I feel like that was
Yeah.
like your favorite. I feel like I'm kind of rooting for them a little bit too.
Yeah. And then also on Thursday, Grand Rapids Rise versus Indy Ignite. What are you thinking?
Maybe Indy Ignite.
Me too. And I like Indy Ignite, so
yeah.
I want them to win. Then Orlando Valkyries versus San Diego Mojo.
Just for fun to put this out there, I'll say San Diego.
I'm gonna say Orlando. Then on Friday, there's one of each. So it starts with Omaha Supernovas versus the Vegas Thrill.
I'm just gonna go with Omaha.
I'm gonna say Vegas Thrill. Salt Lake versus Madison.
Salt Lake. I think Salt Lake is one of my favorite teams right now, actually. I'm kind of hoping Salt Lake wins.
I think mine is Madison.
Wow, we're really split then.
Yeah. Game on. Oh, that'll be a fun game to watch then.
Yeah.
Salt Lake versus Madison.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Keep an eye out for that one. Game to watch. I would mark that a game to watch.
Yeah. Those are the only 2 games for Friday, so 1 for each league.
Yeah. And then Saturday's PBF is going to be streamed on CBS, I think. But you can watch both teams. Yeah, there are 8 games, so I think each team plays twice. So if you can't find it you can find the team still playing some other time during the week. What are you thinking? Indy Ignite or Columbus Fury?
Indy Ignite.
Well, obviously I'm going Columbus Fury for obvious reasons. Jill Gillen. And then we have 2 love matches. We have Houston versus Salt Lake. What are you thinking? Girl.
See, Houston was really good. Okay, you know what though? I'm gonna stick with my team. See, are we going like who we think is gonna win or like who we're rooting for? Salt Lake. Salt Lake.
Well, Jordan Thompson is one of my favorite players, so like who's on Salt Lake? Remind me.
Ugh, I don't know. I'm really bad with names and
Okay, that's fine.
just keep
I'm
asking
still
me
going Houston either way.
questions.
I'm still going Houston either way. Because when we watched Houston versus Austin, you were rooting for Austin, I was rooting for Houston. And guess who won? Houston.
Okay, well, I was rooting for Salt Lake and you were rooting. What was the first game? Salt Lake and
Atlanta.
Salt Lake 1-4 was the first game, and that was who I was rooting.
Yeah. Wait, let's say it again. Yeah, Salt Lake and Atlanta.
Salt Lake 1-4 the first game,
Yeah.
and they were who I was rooting for. So
Okay,
even.
well, let's see what happens this week. And then we have Omaha versus Madison.
I'm gonna say Madison.
I'm gonna also say Madison. Sunday, there's 3 PBF matches. It starts with San Diego Mojo versus the Omaha Supernovas. What are you thinking?
Omaha Supernovas.
Yeah, me too. Same here. And then we have Grand Rapids Rise versus Atlanta Vibe. I don't think this game is gonna be on YouTube either. I don't know what it's on. I'm sorry. I'm not watching.
Yeah, but Atlanta Vibe, I think, will probably win that one.
And then to close out the weekend, we have Orlando Valkyries versus the Vegas Thrill. I'm gonna say Orlando Valkyries.
I'll say Orlando too.
We also want to know what you guys are thinking. So we're gonna have polls throughout the weekend asking you guys what your predictions are, what teams you're rooting for. Maybe if you think Asia O'Neal or another middle is the slide queen, since you brought it up before, trying to get me canceled.
It'll all be on our Instagram, so make sure you're following us at @setuppod.
Yes.
And
check out our
we'll be
TikTok
posting
while we
all
still
the
have
time.
it.
Yeah.
And let us know what you want to see. You know, we're constantly thinking of new things to do and what direction like we want to take this in. But of course, we're curious to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys think and any feedback you have. You know, I think we've learned this weekend the volleyball community is so strong. So we'd appreciate anything you guys think. We're open to,
Yeah.
you know, and we have plans for it, but you know, we want to do as much as we can with it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're very
Of course.
excited. So,
Yeah.
And also to add on to that, thank you everyone from our first episode who downloaded it and supported us, whether it was follow, whether it was a like, whether it was a comment, whether it was just like, I don't know.
It really means more than people know, because I didn't even know how much I'd appreciate it until people started following our accounts and then liking our posts. Like, even if somebody just like liked it or even viewed the story, like I was very appreciative. So
yeah, it really does mean a lot. Love you all.
Love you. Stay tuned for episode 3 coming out next week. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and that's all the volleyball we got for you this week.
Until next week.
Bye. Bye.